This is Mike from WITHERED, and you're listening to CobraMetal.Net.
How's the tour been so far for you?
Good, actually. Very good.
Awesome. You know, the Scandinavian scene, especially like the Swedish scene and everything, is really influential to you and has been a really big impact in your own, musical pursuit and everything. How did that kind of start? Like, how did you get into the Scandinavian scene, and how did that all kind of come into play for you?
Well, I guess when I got into death metal as a kid, I had some of the standards. I really dug like Obituary and Cannibal Corpse, kind of like teeth cutter stuff, But then I wasn't really that big on a lot of American death metal anyways. But then a friend of mine showed me Grave, You Will Never See, way back. I was probably 17 or something, and so that was it. I heard that and I was like, this is amazing death metal. So I nerded out on that and Entombed and Dismember and all those things back then, and the guitar tone especially. That and the guy I started WITHERED with, Chris Freeman, we both always have been obsessed with that tone, kind of that, you know what I mean? So we kind of went after that to begin with, tonally, and then, obviously some of the music as well. So yeah, I don't know, I've just always preferred that style of death metal. Slightly more, hooky, but not, but still really intense, Real like, melodic, well, it's semi-melodic, but just real catchy riffs, I always like real thick, heavy guitar riffs, so that's the stuff that always spoke to me. Yeah, and song structure as a whole.
So, like, your whole life as a musician and everything, how did you kind of get into that? Did you have, like, a musical family?
Yeah, actually, my father was a pretty devout singer in general. Like, he loved like Elvis and all that stuff primarily, but a lot of gospel stuff, a lot of barbershop quartet and stuff. Yeah. So I grew up around that and going to choir practice and stuff when I was a kid. It's always just been a really musical family as a result of that. So, and my sister, I don't know, she was really into hair metal when she's a bit older than me, so she got into hair metal when all that got real popular in the 80s, and she was a teenager, and I was a little kid, so that was a big influence on me as well. Until when I was around 12 or something, and I saw Metallica's Video for One on MTV when it first aired, and it blew me away. I didn't know, like, what is this? It's really dark and all that. So like, that blew me away as a 12-year-old, and then after that was pretty much it. And I've always wanted to play guitar, even I guess before I can remember. I mean, my mom said that on my second birthday or Christmas or something, I asked for a guitar apparently. So, but yeah, I don't know. I guess just being around it probably with my dad is the biggest contributor to it.
So, do you write the lyrics for the band?
Now I do. Yeah, now I write pretty much all the lyrics. But on the first two records, when Chris Freeman was still in the band, him and I split it about 50-50. Okay. And collaborated on everything.
Yeah, because I couldn't really find that info online. Like, I found some of the lyrics, but like they didn't necessarily have like a writer's credit on them.
Yeah, we were not too like I don't know. We just like to call everything WITHERED. We don't really like giving anybody necessarily more credit or not, because everybody equally contributes in one way or the other. Yeah. So I don't like it to see lopsided. So typically in our liner notes, it just says all music written by WITHERED, and that's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just like just wondered out of curiosity and everything, because they're like really intelligently written and everything. They're really well put together, but they're accessible too. Like, you can still understand what's going on.
Yeah, of course.
So I was just kind of wondering, like, as a lyricist and everything, what kind of inspires you? Not even just like necessarily other bands, but maybe movies or TV or authors or anything.
I'm pretty big into just kind of researching esoteric spirituality and some philosophical stuff, like especially some existentialism and nihilistic existentialism, a lot of that stuff. That's why I was kind of cutting my teeth on that. Like, I guess WITHERED originally, when Chris and I started WITHERED, we wanted it to be extremely introspective, and all about, instead of offering escapism, I wanted to offer hyper-realism, which it's a bit of a challenge because, some people like to come out to shows or whatever, and they want to hear music to kind of party, and use it for detachment from life, where we kind of want to go the other way and look even harder at ourselves and challenge people to do the same thing, to be happy with who they are, though, you know what I mean, and to kind of cast aside social conditioning and all of the things, and just get in touch with the person that you would have been without all the external influence that you've had in your life. So anyways, as far as that goes, I mean, that's something we've always been pretty devout to, and I really hate to waste that kind of communication opportunity via lyrics and vocals.
Absolutely.
I don't want to waste that opportunity by just spouting off, which is nothing wrong with it, but just stuff about headbanging or getting the pit or like lighthearted stuff. Like, to me, it's because the music is very emotional for us. I think we definitely experience it very heavily. So we wanted the lyrics to kind of be on par with that experience, and it is for me. So without the meaning that's behind the lyrics, I wouldn't be able to perform them half as well as I do. The meaning definitely drives it a lot. So, and then on top of it, I really like writing really long, drawn out syllables, like as far as the patterns are concerned. So I end up having to say, because of some of the concepts, sometimes I have to try and fit an entire phrase or entire concept into 3 or 4 syllables. So that's so sometimes I have to crack out the thesaurus and kind of get things going there, and that's a lot to do with why I think I wrote the song explanations for our last album. So it just kind of gives a little bit more into it, because some of the imagery and within the lyrics or some of the statements are probably a little vague and abstract. So I think that's one thing we were worried about from the second album, is we did the same kind of thing lyrically, and sometimes there'd be people that loved it, but there'd be some people that I think it'd be lost on them. So like I said, that at that point, then it feels like a waste opportunity if people aren't able to really understand what you're trying to say. So on the last record, we did song explanations as well. So
I saw that on I think that was on Metal Archives or one of those types of sites where it was like the interpretation was put in there.
they're
that's
pretty
definitely good to do that. Are you like a horror movie fan or anything?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
One of these fun questions that I like to ask certain bands is like, if you guys got stuck in a horror movie or something like that, first of all, which one do you think it would be? Yeah, like you guys have to deal with like whatever the reality of that situation is. Like, for example, if you were in maybe like the Hellraiser films or something like that, like who do you think would like survive the longest running away from the Cenobites? Who do you think would rat who out? That kind of stuff.
Oh wow.
What weapon would you use against your favorite villain?
Well, it depends. As far as there's movies I'd want to be in, and then there's movies I would actually not want to be in, because they're too brutal. So those would probably be the ones. But I don't know, it's difficult. I have a pretty vivid imagination when I watch those things, and I definitely try to imagine myself in those scenarios. And I'm definitely like, I try to live it. I want to experience the emotions. So I'll sometimes I scream at the movie theater, or I'll jump or whatever. But if we were, that's tough. I probably would not. I don't know that I would survive very long, but it would depend on the scenario. If it pissed me off enough to where I was frustrated, then I'd probably survive just out of stubbornness. But outside of that, some of those movies are so trying, and are such a tribulation for the character. I would definitely don't value life enough to. I'd be like, fuck it, kill me. Like, let's go. Look, it's not worth it. It's not worth this much effort.
Especially in that case with the Hellraiser movies, it's like they're gonna rip your soul apart. What the fuck are you gonna do?
Life hasn't been cool enough to justify this price. So
hell no.
I'm definitely a quitter in some of those regards.
I can understand that. I think if those things were chasing me, I'd probably put a shotgun to my head too. Obviously, like current events and that kind of stuff, seem to be pretty important to you guys. Kind of keeping a pulse on like, what people are doing and everything. What kind of what are some of the issues that really drive you, as far as like you said that people being more introspective and everything? What do you think that people should focus on in this day and age?
Wow. I really think it probably is the same theme through pretty much any era. It seems I definitely watch it change. I think I can say that as far as today's day and age, one of my biggest concerns for society as a whole is people are just genuinely lazier. At least in the States, that's true. In the States, and unfortunately, we're such a large economic and cultural influence on other parts of the world that if we're ever not on our A game, that kind of reverberates throughout the world, and we've been doing that for the last several years, with some of the issues and international conflicts that have been happening. We don't really focus on anything specific, and we just kind of, look at the human condition as it is, and it's a result of those things, of those issues, and whatever the goings on are in the world. But Yeah, it's definitely more of a personal discovery thing.
You know, so your most recent album, Dualitas, that was through, was that your second one through Prosthetic Records?
It's our second through Prosthetic, our third total.
Awesome, yeah. How's the relationship with them going versus Life Force, who you were with previously?
Actually, relationships with both were awesome. It's just we did the first record with Life Force, and then Prosthetic came along, you know, and offered us, you know, looked like a great relationship. So we did that, you know, and they were stronger here in the States too than Life Force at the time. So yeah, we did that, and we love those guys. They've always taken good care of us.
Were you guys editing a DVD? I thought I saw something on your Facebook about that.
Yeah, we were. I spent some time with this videographer or filmmaker, actually, who we hired to shoot a show we did last August after our tour with Exhumed and Cephalic Carnage and Macabre. We shot that, but we had some delays, and we didn't really get started on it again until maybe a month ago. So we're in the... We've gotten most of the primary editing done, and we're fine-tuning it now. So hopefully, I'm guessing probably by the end of summer we'll have something together.
So, are you still kind of like, you know, in the touring phases to support Dualitas, or do you guys already like have other ideas in mind? I know you guys hate those kind of questions, but I have to ask.
Not at all. Not at all. I don't hate that. Basically, I mean, we were pretty much, I would say after that Exhumed tour last August, that was kind of our mental cutoff point, you know what I mean? Yeah. We took a break for a couple of months, and then basically got down to just getting comfortable with each other again and starting to write. So we've been writing, actually, but then this tour opportunity came up, and we toured with MARDUK before, and it was a blast. They're an amazing band, and we're not going to turn that down. So so we're like, yeah, we'll go out just for fun. So. And
you've toured also with Mayhem and Watain too. So
yeah, we toured with Watain on. It was their second Sworn to the Dark tour, I think, in 08, at the fall of 08. And then in summer of 09, we went out with Mayhem for their, what was it? Black Infest or whatever it was called.
You guys have had some you've been a part of some really amazing bills.
Yeah, we've been pretty fortunate in that regard. I do have to say that I have yet to go on a tour where we weren't playing with at least two bands that I loved and wanted to watch.
That's,
you know, and I did.
Awesome.
So it's never once have we done a tour where we didn't really like any of the bands on a personal taste level. So yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, I mentioned earlier about a big influence of mine being Grave. Our very, very first tour was with Dismember and Grave, and so that was like a dream come true for me. It's kind of worked out that way ever since. We get to play with some really amazing bands.
That's a great way to break in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what's next for you guys after this tour?
I think we're just gonna go home and write. Awesome. That's pretty much it. We've got about 2 songs roughed in right now that we're really, really excited about. It's going really well, so we kind of don't want to miss any opportunity to keep that up. So we're gonna start doing that. There are talks about a fall tour, but nothing solid yet. So we'll see how it goes. Just play it by ear.
Sweet.
Something awesome happens, we're gonna do it.